Hey Stormbounders, just wanted to talk about what is possibly the best deck in the game and probably the best combo in the game with Icicle Burst Zhevana. This is a pretty typical deck list. I'm going to run through it, do a little card by card breakdown, and make sure you're aware of what every card in the deck is doing and what your opponents are going to try to do to you if they're playing it. So green prototypes, just early game staple, little bit of tempo, very cheap. Move your front. Maybe you clear something and you negate the on death effect. Icicle Burst and Frost Hexers are both early game winter staples for sure. They can stall your opponent, they can clear something large if you need to, but really these cards are in the deck to enable Zhevana. Gifted Recruits, generally useful neutral. Play it. It's good. Angelic Tikas, generally useful neutral. Another gun. Flexible tool, right? It can be used offensively to move unpredictably to get into your opponent's base and chip them down. It can be used defensively, just like Icicle and Frost Hexers, to confuse something at your baseline, prevent you from taking damage. Boomstick Officers, now that this is 3 mana, this buffed card is everywhere, and for good reason. It's a fantastic card. It can clear something behind it while continuing to move forward and apply tempo. It's not the right fit for every deck, but it's something you should consider for every deck. Lost Psyches, the newly buffed 8 strength for 3 is just, it's giant, it's hard to clear. It's a great opener because your opponent probably can't clear it for the amount of mana that you put into it. And also, it's very hard for your opponent to stick something in front of it and let it trade because of Lost Psyches moving in an unpredictable fashion. Clap of Thunder is the other part of the combo with Icicle and Jev that's just, it's so strong. At 5 mana, this card was basically unplayable, and at 4 mana, this card is ridiculously strong. I don't really know how to tune this, but I suspect the strength should come down. It's 6 strength for each empty card space in your hand. It counts itself when played as an empty card space. So if your turn is Icicle, Zhevana, Clap of Thunder, you're looking at developing 26 strength on the board while removing your opponent's unit. It's really good. That's a fantastic play for 5 mana. It's incredibly difficult for your opponent to deal with. If you have other cards on the board besides Zhevana, it'll spread the damage, spread the strength out amongst those units, which is just fantastic. Rhymlings, a winter staple. It's really a 2-cost. The downside is that you can't play it until you have 4 mana. Sometimes you have to play it first from your hand. Be aware of that. Zhevana, just a free 8 strength as long as you have Icicle Burst in hand and as long as your opponent has a unit with 8 or less strength on the board. It's very hard to construct your deck in such a way that your units are more than 8 strength. So eventually Zhevana is going to get some value. Late game, this card does fall off. Late game, Zhevana is not that strong. That's something that we've been saying on the Brood Sages for years. But early game, this is such a big tempo swing that it's very difficult for you to deal with, and your opponent is very likely going to convert this into some great pressure at your baseline. Blessed with Brawn, again, just like Clap of Thunder, a giant unit for 5 mana, 15 strength, with the condition that you have to have something else on the board. You'll see it played on 6 with green prototypes. Just play the green prototypes up onto your baseline and then Blessed with Brawn to make it 20 strength. You'll see it played with Zhevana sometimes. If you can't play Icicle Zhevana on 5 mana with Clap of Thunder in hand, play it on 6 with Blessed with Brawn in hand. Your opponent is probably going to clear your unit and make something giant with this. Sleet Stompers is the last card in the deck typically. Just 14 strength runner. It's a huge chunk of damage. Your opponent's going to make these beefy units with Clap and Blessed with Brawn. They're going to chip you down a little bit, and then Sleet Stompers is going to finish you off. So that's what the deck is trying to do. Be aware of that. know that you're going to run into it, have a plan for it, and happy hunting out there.